Now, in part 2 of this video, where I explain why telework is in fact a natural progression of the internet, the most resistant people to this are in fact not necessarily even the owners of office buildings. The United States has permanently settled into a 50% office vacancy rate. As you can see from this data in Castle Systems' weekly updated report, technology industry heavy metro areas like the San Francisco Bay Area, where I am right now, are 65 to 70% vacant in offices because most people can work from home for most days. Office building owners are free market type people, and they recognize this reality and are adapting. They're repurposing offices for something else, sometimes residential, sometimes something else, but they are repurposing. The people complaining the most about this are not necessarily people who even have skin in the game, but rather weak people who cannot withstand change. In prehistoric times, the people who were adaptable welcomed change because maybe their standard of living would increase. The people who were weaker and less adaptable opposed all change as just a Pavlovian reaction because they did not have the ability to adapt to change, so they would oppose all change. You see some of this in U.S. conservatism, but you also see this among PhD economists who are usually left-wing in their political orientation because they're employed by government or government-supported institutions for the most part, but they are extremely against work from home, which you can see in this video up here, just a couple of examples. They feel like saying that working from home harms people's mental health and commuting to an office and being stuck in traffic every day during rush hour is somehow a positive for mental health. Only a PhD economist will think of something like that, but they have, as you can see in that clip I just linked to. But many people are unusually emotional about this, and they are not even the office building owners. And no amount of logical arguments sway them. They are merely, in their hindbrain, in their primitive hardwiring, afraid of change. The benefits of work from home are many. What if you want to lie down for 5 minutes? What if you don't like forcing down breakfast at 7:30 a.m. and you would rather have a nice breakfast on your own patio at 10:30 a.m.? What if you want to go to just 2 meals a day and eat within a 4 or 6 or 8 hour window and not eat within the rest of the 24-hour cycle, as many people do for health reasons? Being able to work from home most days is very advantageous for people who want to do that. You're saving 10 hours a week. What if you don't like to buy office clothes for the office, polishing your shoes and things like that? All of the above. And this is also separating the productive from the less productive. People who are innately productive and don't need to be in an office setting to be told what to do, they can get more done from home. The less productive need to be supervised, and therefore that stratification is occurring as it should. That's why working from home is the natural progression of the internet. That is a done deal. It's already happened. The fact that people are opposing this, even now in August of 2024, is rather silly. There was this person on LinkedIn who runs this relatively good-sized research company out of the UK. 100 people, and it's out of the UK. And he behaved in a way on LinkedIn that not only revealed that he is not trying to do research, he has been hired to produce so-called research around a conclusion that already exists. So produce a report that justifies a certain belief. And he put out a poll on LinkedIn. Why are you people lazy and not going to the office? That was the tone already. And if anyone responded in the comments, that doesn't mean we're lazy. We just are able to save 2 to 3 hours a day. His responses were ridiculous in that, so you don't want to have any friends in life, implying that the only friends you should have are people you work with who are not actually your friends. I mean, he said the entirety of the friendships you have can only be attained by physically going to the office. Or that if you are more productive from home because you're saving 2 to 3 hours a day and you have a desk-based job and you're on Zoom meetings with other people, somehow you're lazy. So super weak stuff. I was surprised that someone in a relatively high position would behave so childishly on LinkedIn. It took a very small amount of probing for me to find out that there's a very good chance he was retained to produce a pro-return to office, anti-work from home report. So it's not really a research report. It is working backwards from a conclusion they want to support. But you'll see more and more eccentric people saying how going to the office is extremely good and you'll have no social life if you don't go to the office, when in fact the opposite is true. Many husbands and wives can spend a lot more time with each other because they're not commuting. Single people have more time to date. Like before people could work from home, people were too tired to date during the weekdays because by the time you come home and eat, you're too tired and you can't do a whole lot on weeknights. but an extra 10 hours a week can make the difference between having that type of social life or not. So all the arguments are terrible. This is a ship that has already sailed. Telework is the natural progression of the internet, and you can no more reverse it than you can reverse e-commerce to reestablish brick and mortar retail at the same number of stores that existed before e-commerce. So I hope you found this two-part video to be informative. And if you like this type of content, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much for watching.